going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of 54 Yards, Season 4, Episode 1. It's been a while, man. 4 seasons.
It's been a while. Yeah, 4 seasons. And like we've been saying all off season, which is crazy. Like the Oklahoma Discord, they were like, man, I'm so excited we have football in a couple of days. And I was just like, you know what? Like, this is the first off season. I felt like it's actually flown by. Like, I don't think it was that long of a wait.
It was what, 2 seasons? Our last year in the apartment was like, I felt like was like the longest off season ever.
Yeah.
And then like last year and this year, I felt like it went by like super fast.
Yeah, it like flew by. And I think there was because there's just so much.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, same hat, you know. If you guys want to get some hats, we got a couple more left. But yeah, it's insane, bro. Like, I'm excited. I think it's going to be, you know, arguably the best season since 2007. That's the season everyone references because everyone lost games.
I think it's going to be better than before stuff even got interesting. I felt like it was going to be better than the 2007 season. Like, they're just, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into it, but there's just so many question marks around so many teams. And this is the first time where, like, I feel like personally that's really has happened, because I feel like in 07 there wasn't really question marks. There was just hella upsets.
Yeah.
But like this time there's like question marks around every team in the conference except for one team. And that one team is pretty much predicted to go to the championship for most people, and that's Clemson. Other than that.
And even then, I mean, look at the AP poll. Like, it doesn't look like they were. One. That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're in the top 5.
They're number 8, I believe, which was crazy to me. Because I feel like they're the most.
Oh, we can go over that too as well.
They're the most complete team out of it. Like the team that has the least amount of question marks.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess at running back maybe, but even then, it's like the overall team is still good. You got a quarterback that's been in the system, what, 5 years now? 4 years now?
4 years now. He's actually got some really good receivers. That was a problem with Clemson too, when these like, let's say down years, because like, let's be honest, like most people would still want the seasons they were having, winning 9 games, you know, 10 games, still winning the ACC. But I mean, now they got Brian Wesco, Trey Moore, and then Antonio Williams. They have like arguably one of the best receiving rooms in the country. And I think I was listening to Todd McShay, and he said that they have the most on paper, like the most draft prospects for this season. I think he like listed like 13 or 14 guys that'll probably get drafted off that team because they're an older team. That's the thing with Dabo is I think a lot of times in today's day and age with like the transfer portal and NIL and all this stuff, people are so worried about like, oh, who are you bringing in, this and that, as opposed to like who's being retained on the roster. And Clemson has been able to do that probably better than most schools. They don't really lose anyone due to the portal. They still recruit well. And they're also, I think this year they actually took a couple people in the portal. They got some DN from Purdue. So like a highly rated guy to kind of add to their team. And they're primed and ready to win.
That's 2 years in a row. Cause what? Nick Scorton at A&M.
Yeah. He went to and that's the thing. Like Purdue, I mean, Deion Burks last year was from Purdue. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like
for what, 3 years, right?
Yeah. So it's like people are losing talent, right? And then these other schools, which let me like kind of pivot and segue. I had sent you a tweet earlier this week that mentioned that all conference players at the G5 level are all playing at Power 4 schools. And that right there just shows you that they're using the portal the right way. These guys that are performing at these lower level schools are moving up, you know, taking chances at these Power 5 schools, getting offers, getting chances to play. Even if they're not even starters, they're still leaving to, you know, for depth pieces for schools. And that's just showing where the sport's going. It just truly does, you know.
And y'all got a great running back, and that's something that y'all liked last year, not because of, I mean, last year was just
last year was this last year, man. Last year was a lot of sad podcasts, a lot of miserable times. I'm hoping that changes this season.
I mean, because you said I don't know what's changed since the last time we talked about it, but Taylor Tatum going to full-time baseball. I don't know if that's still a thing.
No, that's not a thing. So right now we're looking pretty good at running back. We obviously got brought in Jaden Ott. Javonte Barnes is still there. I think he's going to be probably running back too, just experienced. I mean, even last year, he still had almost 600 rushing yards with how bad our offense was. And then we brought in, we obviously have Taylor Tatum. Xavier Robinson was the freshman running back who came on late last year. He basically single-handedly beat Alabama. He played against Missouri. He was averaging like 6 yards a carry in that game. Young guy, but super excited about him. And then Torrey Blaylock. That's a name. If you guys like betting, if you guys like just learning about young college football players, I know Carlos is in the baseball card space or football card space. That is a player that is getting high rave reviews. There's a lot of freshmen on our team getting some of those, but he's from Houston, and they just said he's just very fast, got a lot of juice, like one of those like if he has a hole, he's going to score type of running back. So I'm excited to see him, and he's like considered running back 5 on our team. So I feel really good about that position group overall, especially with Jaden Nod. And that's why you bring in a Jim Nagy. You bring in somebody who has the experience in the scouting to, did we necessarily need him? I'm going to say no, right? Just from like our recruiting, who was on the team. But like when you have the opportunity to upgrade your position, you got to be able to do that. And that's something that, I commend Coach Sark and the Texas Longhorns for doing over the last couple of years is, they've lost a lot of people to the NFL from drafts, but they still go and get, their pick in the portal and upgrade their team.
I don't think there's such thing as do you need them? No anymore. It's like you just got to stay reloaded at all times these days. So if there's a guy that you can get and that can benefit your team and produce at some capacity, get him.
You got to. And yeah, I think it's gonna be a fun year, man. I'm super excited. I know me and Carlos are down here in Austin, Texas, home of the Texas Longhorns, and they got a big time game coming up next week. If you guys are listening here and haven't heard, we're having a watch party at Clive on Rainey Street for the Texas-Ohio State game. So free entry, just pull up, come support, check it out, come watch the football with the fellas. But yeah, I'm gonna let Carlos, kind of go into some of the things he's been hearing about Texas. Obviously, SEC Media Days was crazy with Arch, and there's a lot of pressure on the kid. I mean, pressure he's not asking for, if we're being quite honest.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's made it very clear about that too. He's not asking for it, and he's made it very clear that he doesn't really pertain to the media. And he doesn't really, not in a bad way, but doesn't really like the media. He just kind of wants to, focus on football and play football.
Mm-hmm.
And the expectations are set high on him, and it sucks. But for one, that's what comes with being the number one perfect score quarterback in the country.
And having the name he has.
I was saying, number 2, having the name that you have.
And being at the school he's at.
And then being at, so, it's tough. But I think, speaking on the name, that has what has helped him with the media, I mean, he has 2 uncles that played in the NFL for good periods of time. Eli, Hall of Famer?
I say he gets in by default. I mean, the thing with Eli is wins 2 Super Bowls. He wins the 2 Super Bowls against the GOAT. So it's like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
okay, so 2 Hall of Fame uncles, and both played in Super Bowls and both won Super Bowls. So like they've been around media, they've been around, all eyes on them. I mean, his uncle's nicknamed the Sheriff, bro. Like,
yeah, I mean, Peyton has 5. He has 5 MVPs. I think he still has the most MVPs in the history of the NFL.
I think just with that, I think that's helped him with the media a lot. And then probably seeing how Quinn was as well. I get a sense that he learned a lot from Quinn. Just kind of picking his brain, whether that's playing quarterback or whether that's dealing with media or whether that's leading the team. I feel like he got a lot of that from Quinn. But I'm excited for this season. Excited to see what he brings. I don't think he's not going to perform to expectations. I'm going to say that right now, especially with the expectations that are getting put on him. That doesn't mean he's going to perform bad. I think his expectations are like way up here, and he's going to perform like right here, like right under them. People are like, oh man, he sucks. But like, I still think he does a good enough job, or great enough job, I'll say that, to where he's going to be talked about early in draft picks, if not the first draft pick. Excited for our offense. It's kind of a whole brand new look for offense. New offensive line, new quarterback, new tight ends. Because Gunnar Helm was there with Jatavian Sanders, and like it just everything's kind of new. Receiver for the most part are kind of the same. You have 2 returners. And then the backfield I'm excited about too. You got Jared Gibson, Christian Clark's returning. CJ Baxter's returning. I'm really, really, really high on him. that's one thing that I this whole offseason I just kind of been thinking about, and I've been telling Cam that people forgot about CJ Baxter because I mean Trey was the leading rusher last year in the SEC, and that's a big deal. So I feel like that kind of like people threw CJ to the back of the bus, but I think he's going to be huge for a run game. If that's something that we've struggled in, that's something that has hindered us from closing out games. You know, just milking the clock, getting those first down, grueling drives, and just
executing in the red zone
yes,
too.
And executing in the red zone. I think he's a power back, and he's gonna. I think those 3rd and 1, 2nd and 1s, goal line carries. That's where he's going to come in and to play. He's a 3-down back. Trey Wisner was not a 3-down back, and I think that's also why our running game struggled. Neither was Jaden Blue, but that's also goes to show you that they caught passes out the backfield because that's more where their game aligns is being free, being open, and making people miss, not running up the gut. So I'm excited about that. Defense, I'm always excited for. We got two monsters back there. First round draft picks. 3 monsters.
I wouldn't say Taff is a first-round draft pick, but he's an elite college football player.
Absolutely.
And he'll
gonna get drafted.
He'll be a long-time NFL player. He'll play for 7-8 years.
He's very smart when it comes to knowing and understanding the game. So I think that's that's how he's made his career. But 2 first-round draft picks, Colin Simmons and Anthony Hill. So obviously, always excited to see them. We got that transfer from Syracuse, the one that's on the list. He was a freshman last year. The D lineman, yes. He was a freshman last year at Syracuse, and he was an All-American as well. So anytime you can add talent like that, especially with all the departures that we had, bring it, So I guess going into week 1 on the road, hostile environment, I think we have the team to compete and win. Now, do we win? I don't know. There's a lot going on in this game, Both teams are
they're kind of the same.
On paper. They're both kind of reloading. New quarterbacks. They just lost both their running backs. They lost
both coordinators too.
But I mean,
they brought in Matt Patricia as a DC.
Exactly.
It's like this. Like people are. I'm like, bro, this is Matt Patricia, bro. This is an NFL ex-head coach. Like, they'll be fine.
Exactly. So like, Brian Hartline as offensive coordinator. So like, yes, they lost both coordinators, but I think they're fine.
And that's what's interesting too. Like we'll talk about it more next week on the game, but just like quick tidbit is like. Chip Kelly was the OC last year. We all know Chip Kelly specializes in running the football, one of the most unique guys in creating run schemes for offenses. You got Brian Hartline, who is literally the wide receiver whisperer. I mean, everybody that goes through him gets drafted. He has his pick of the litter in high school. So that's going to be interesting when this game plays out. You have a first-time starter against a very good defense. Is he going to just try to run the football, or is he since he played receiver, is he gonna just throw the ball to get the ball to his 5 stars? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's gonna be interesting.
But the reason I went to that just because we kind of have the same team, so it's gonna be a fun matchup. But I'm excited for that one, and excited to see our team get on the field. There's some freshmen that people are talking highly about. Parker Livingston, one of them. He's a redshirt freshman. He's not a true freshman. He did play a little bit last year, but he didn't he literally has no stats. Like he was just doing, as Zach would say, he's doing cardio on the field. So I'm excited to see him play because people have been hyping him up left and right on the field. So maybe we'll get some flashbacks of Colt and Jordan Shipley. So
yeah, I'm excited, man. I think it's going to be. We're going to be watching the game out, so it's going to be a lot of stress on you. For me, I'm going to be just chilling,
You're lucky you get to go home and watch your game.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching on the phone because I got the damn high school reunion later, so I'm going to hit that, But
high school reunion that day?
Yeah, it's the same day. It's at Dogwood Domain.
Oh, I didn't know.
I'm going to just, show face, whatever, because I got to watch Clemson and LSU, bro. Like, I'm not going to.
And what time's Bama? Wait, what? Bama
plays at 2:30.
Yeah, exactly. What time's this thing?
7 or 6.
Oh, okay.
And OU plays at 5. So I'm like,
all right. Well, yeah.
yeah, but
anyways,
you know,
but yeah, freshman wise, obviously Parker Livingston. How do you say his last name? Xavier Filmsay?
Fosami, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. Safety.
Yes, very excited about him too. Another redshirt freshman, didn't play much last year.
Who's the guy that's playing the star position? What's his name? The guy that's a freshman that you sent me the other day? Supposed to start?
Yes.
It's like McDonald or something?
Yes,
or
I can't remember his name on top of my head. But he's been getting a lot of... Oh, wrong thing. A lot of talk and hype. And he's supposed to be that guy, apparently. So,
yeah, because they moved Gilbo to outside. Like just like they did with Jade. And obviously we saw, shout out to Jade. We saw what that did for him last year. Okay, that's his name, Littleton.
Yes, Grayson Littleton. And they've been saying he's been just going crazy in camp. So obviously that's a guy that is making a name for himself. And if he can make a name for himself on that defense, that kind of just tells you something. So
especially that
young. So there's a lot of things to be excited about with the young cats. I know that was a big area going into this season because we lost a lot of tenured vets, but it's looking bright. And so for me, really the only question marks on the team is the offensive line, and we just lost one for the season. We lost 4 last year.
Yeah, the whole line got drafted last year. So you got the only returning starter that played a lot is Trevor Gooseby. Everybody else, got drafted, which is good. Shows the development of Kyle Flood, but it is it's SEC, bro. You could recruit well, but you saw it with us. We had a bunch of injuries. We recruit well at the offensive line position, and we still got baptized. Trial and error.
My thing is, Texas has always recruited well. The part for us was the development part. We could never develop players to their full potential. Now we're starting to develop players to their full potential, if not past what their ceiling was. So if they're anything like Gooseby, which we don't really know, he might just be just an elite player. And just was able to learn that quick. But if they're anything like him, I'm fine. I'm chilling. I ain't worried about it at all. But if they're not, that's when I start worrying. And we'll find out obviously week 1. They have
you'll find out early.
They have a great defense. So that's my biggest question mark. Is that obviously the other question mark is Arch, but that's not really a question mark on my end. He's just not going to live up to the expectations that he has set on him, but I think he will be great.
Yeah, I think he's going to play really well this season. I think he's going to be playing his best football towards the end of the year, which is what you really want. Y'all schedule
if he can get it clicking in November.
Yeah. And really the thing is y'all schedule is hard at the beginning of the year and then hard at the end of the year. In the middle, it's very manageable. So it's if you guys can, take care of business on the road and play Florida, and then you play us.
I would say this. If we win this first game, I think we make playoffs. If we lose this first game, it's going to be a scary road.
Yeah, and it depends on how it is. If you guys go in there and you're still seeing the same things as last year, can't score in the third quarter, can't execute in the red zone,
can't run the football.
If that's the same stuff, then it's going to be a longer season because you obviously have the talent. Absolutely. But the way the schedule lays out, you got to go on the road again to Florida. You play us. You play on the road to Georgia, and then obviously we give A&M shit, but that's still a talented team. And the way they lost last year, having the chance to go to the SEC championship, coming into Austin, they're going to be wanting to try to avenge that loss, and they should be better as well this year. So there's going to be some tough teams that you got to play, and I think y'all be fine, but
we'll see. Like I said, we have the team to do it, but it's just putting the pieces together. That's all it is. It's obviously easier said than done, but
yeah,
hey, it's I'm excited.
Yeah.
Do I say it? I guess I'll just say it.
Your what? Prediction of the season? Your record?
Yeah, what I told about our season, but I'll just say it. I might get some hate, but oh well. I might be called like a fake fan, but I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think we make playoffs. I think we lose 3
What
games.
do you think? What do you think your record? 3 games?
But I think that's the bubble.
Yeah,
Like,
and if
I
you
think
lose
going forward, that's the bubble.
Yeah, and if you lose 3 games, it depends on the schedule and it depends on who you lose to. I say with y'all, since y'all schedule is a little easier than like ours or Florida's, they might have a harder time pitting y'all in with 9 and 3.
15th overall, I think.
Okay.
Schedule.
But I think what's going to help y'all is since y'all are ranked so high right now, and if y'all lose week 1 to Ohio State to a top like that, you're not gonna like y'all probably won't even drop out the top 5.
That's like
if
the
y'all lose
hard
this game.
part though, because it's like, all right, say we lose to Ohio State. Say we lose to y'all are undefeated when we play. Y'all are gonna be ranked in the top 10 for sure.
Yeah, especially if we beat Michigan and then Auburn. I want them to lose against Baylor, but I kind of want them to win for us when we play them.
So Jay could put 400 on your head.
No,
yes, sir.
That's not happening.
So let's just say that's Ohio State, Oklahoma, Georgia, right? Those are 3 teams that we think will be in the top 10 when we play. So it's like, theoretically, if you lose to all 3 of those teams, and then, or just say you go 2 for 1, don't matter who it is, and you lose to Florida. Like, where does that put you and where does that seat you?
Yeah.
You know, because it's like,
and if it's out Florida,
you're
good
losing
Florida
the top
is
10
too.
teams, but you're also not beating these top 10 teams.
Yeah, and that's going to be something that's going to be like a talking point, right? Because last year, you know, Texas beat everyone they were supposed to, but when they played Georgia both times, they lost. When they played Ohio State, they lost. So it's like that. Will that be a talking point? I'm sure. Like this is the. Go ahead.
So for me, there's just a lot of things that are going on. You know, like Quinn. Apparently, Quinn wasn't healthy, and it's looking to be that way. If you watch his preseason games, he actually is zipping the ball. Like you didn't see that in college from Quinn. You saw great throws, but you didn't like see him zip the ball. So now he's like zipping the ball. So like you had that, and I don't know if that like took away from the playbook. And then we couldn't run the ball against these good teams. So that took away from the playbook. So like, that's like for me, like, and then we couldn't score in the red zone. But is that because Quinn couldn't throw the ball? Or does he just not have great red zone plays? So like, I think that's kind of what I'm looking at, like against these teams, and that's why we couldn't beat them. That's why we couldn't put teams away. That's why we couldn't close out in the SEC championship. Yeah, we were down to we were down to Georgia. It wasn't that bad, like score wise, but the game was god awful. But obviously,
the first game was worse.
Yeah. I mean, the second game was
because the first game they were up 20 at half in Austin. The first game,
I think it wasn't it 15-0?
It's 20-0 or some shit like that. Yeah, and then y'all scored at the beginning of the third, and then y'all got that pick, and then that's when y'all made it interesting. But then they went back down the field, and
that
was kind of wraps.
Etienne scored.
On that pass play.
Yeah. But like Ohio State and Georgia, we couldn't run the ball. But it's crazy to look at because you look at the A&M game and we like kind of ran the ball in that game, but they had like a great D line. So I don't.
But even then, that game was like low scoring because it's like
that's just
y'all dominated them, but it wasn't like
I think we just took our foot off the gas. We're up 17-0 in the first quarter, so I think if you look at the play calling, it's just like, all right, bro.
But that's just like in college, I just feel like you can't even obviously, yes, y'all's defense is good and like whatnot, but it's like I feel like you just can't do that because I mean, let's say that was the case against Arizona State, like y'all were up in that game, they came back in one quarter and took the lead, you know, so. That's the issue is like, I don't think you need to be like blowing teams out, but you got to just be able to execute every single quarter because you just never know, especially now with how good these teams, everybody's getting like, you just can't take anybody for granted. Like anybody can, you know, any given Saturday, like we just watched in that documentary, like you literally can lose to anybody, especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
So
I think we just kind of took our foot off the gas. Obviously, it's not an excuse, but that's just kind of how it seemed, just like with the play calling and whatnot.
Yeah.
or they just made great adjustments. Obviously, we won the game, so we kind of really don't know because we closed out. But yeah, so I think if we can just control the clock, that is obviously huge. Winning the line of scrimmage, that's what you want to do on both ends of the ball, and that's what wins you ball games. So as long as we can do that this year, I think we will be fine. But if we can't, going to Florida, I mean, we talk about Trey Wisner being the leading rusher in the SEC last year, but the running back they had, that
he's
boy's
good.
elite.
And they got a really good offensive line. I think that's something that they're not talking about at Florida, is that offensive line is really, really good. They got really good skill positions, good defense.
I think the problem is at Florida is their play calling.
Yeah, that's an issue with, like, they make Lagway do a lot of difficult things. Obviously, he can do it, but if you look at his film and, like, let's use Marcel Reed, for example, a lot of Marcel Reed's plays, he's got a lot of layups, got a lot of easy throws. Lagway, they like making him push the ball down the field, which is fine, but you got to help him out. And also, too, hopefully he can stay healthy because, I mean, he's already kind of been banged up in his college career. He got hurt last year. He got hurt in spring football. I mean, he was hurt going into fall camp. So, how healthy will he even be, this season? Hopefully he is, because he's very talented, probably the most talented quarterback, that we've seen, right? So hopefully he's good to go, but we'll see.
We'll see. Well, but I don't remember where I left off, but yeah, I guess that's enough about Texas. Kind of got all my thoughts out there, but yeah, as long as we win the line of scrimmage this year, I think we'll be great. Obviously, week 1's going to be a big test, and if we can go to a place again, that's 3 years in a row we go to a place and win where no one can win.
Yeah, y'all been a really good road team. So that's something. I
think that's credit to Quinn.
For sure, which won't get talked about enough. But y'all were, in Quinn's time at Texas, y'all were a really good road team. I mean, he had some great marquee victories on the road as a Longhorn. So it'll be exciting to see Arch in this.
I think a lot of that, which sounds crazy, but I think a lot of that stemmed from the Big 12.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you started off there.
Games and is playing in crazy environments and losses and whatnot. I mean, the two biggest that I can remember were Oklahoma State and Texas Tech.
Yeah, and he lost that Oklahoma State game as a freshman, or his first year there.
Yeah.
And then he, and then Tech, obviously, but he got it together and was able to put together a good couple of seasons there. So, but on to Oklahoma, it's going to be an interesting year. I think this is the best team Brent's had on paper. I was telling you this. This is the most complete roster he's had. The first year. Lost a lot of people because of the Lincoln Riley departure. So, that was kind of a wash. You're kind of building what you can do. And then even in that first year, we lost like 4 or 5 games in a row by 1 possession. So it wasn't like we were too far off of winning 10 games in Brent's first year. And then the second year, we go 10-3, obviously beat Texas, which was a huge win. And I think, since it being so early in Brent's career as a head coach, he was, struggling with how to handle success. We struggled the following week against UCF, and then we lose 2 games in a row to Kansas and Oklahoma State. Even though they were close losses and on the road, we should have won both those games and ended up not playing in the Big 12 championship. And then last year, the reports out of camp were not the greatest. Obviously our defense is good, but the side of the offensive side of the football was not performing, and that was kind of a telltale sign of the season. Not only from the quarterback play, but from the play calling, and also from all the historically crazy injuries we had. I mean, I've never seen that amount of injuries ever in my life. I don't wish that on anybody's team. Like, it was hard to know, like, you're about to go into a game, you really don't have a great chance, because unless your defense can create some turnovers, like the Auburn game or like the Alabama game, there was really a hard time for us to score the ball and move the ball. And teams knew that. So that's why, when we played teams like South Carolina, where they have 21 points in 5 minutes, you're not having to do much as a opposing team. Like, you can just run the ball, you can keep away. You don't have to do too much, because that our offense isn't a threat. I think a lot of that changes this season. Not only is Arbuckle one of the young up and coming coaches in college football, he also has the tenure with quarterback development. I mean, he developed Bailey Zapp at Western Kentucky. He also developed Cam Ward before he went to Miami, and we saw Cam Ward get drafted #1 overall. And then he also, John Mateer, last year was his first year starting in Arbuckle system, leads the country in total touchdowns with 44. So he goes to his team now where he's not only been, as in Mateer, not only been with the coach for 3 seasons, has his playbook, has the development. I think that really sped up the process of him implementing his system at Oklahoma. And then you bring in a bunch of transfers. Maybe they're not the biggest names outside of Jaden Ott, but a lot of these guys can play. Isaiah Satania, had 500 yards last year at Arkansas. They're not like moving the ball like that. He had a good season there, played in the SEC. Giovanni Gibson has 1,600 yards at the FCS level. Even if you cut that in half, that's 800. If you want to, for moving up a level, that's still 800, yards of production that you can kind of write down. Deion Burks didn't have his greatest year, but, we all saw the offense last season. And then they brought in a bunch of highly talented other pieces like Keontae Lewis, Jermichael Carter, other receivers that can play. And then you obviously have good recruiting. Bring in Elijah Thomas, who they're really high on. Emmett Jones, which I was like, whoa, chill. But he was like, he reminds me of a young Malik Neighbors. I was like, whoa, chill. Like, let's not go too far. We got to see the guy play. But this is a true freshman. They're talking highly about him. I was telling Carlos, they're saying this is one of the more talented receivers since a CD Lamb has came through Oklahoma. So I'm excited to see what he does. And I think the QB play I think that's something that's going to having a real quarterback coach, someone that can develop not only Mateer more, but Michael Hawkins. And then they're even saying Rhett Neubauer, who was the quarterback at Mercer. We brought him in. He's even playing well. He's our third string. And I was watching his game against Alabama last year. He was making throws against Alabama at Mercer. So I'm like, I feel good about the overall room and the offensive line. I feel great about. This is our best unit in a long time. And I think Bill has 2 of his most talented incoming freshmen that might even compete for snaps later on in the season. Michael Fasusi and then Ryan Foje. Michael Fasusi was a 5-star. Ryan Foje was a borderline 5-star. We saw him at the All-American game. And both of those guys are making massive strides, not only in camp, but also just implementations on the team. And then obviously the defense is, from a ceiling standpoint, I think will be the best defense Brent's had at Oklahoma. Obviously, you lose Danny and Billy, but you have higher talented players on the roster. There's a lot of people talking about that we might have the best defensive line in the SEC, let alone the country, especially in the interior. They got 4 or 5 bodies they think they can rotate in the inside. And then on the edges, you got R. Mason Thomas, who was a second team preseason All SEC. Last year, he had 8.5 sacks. And I was telling people, I'm like, look, he would, because everyone's like, oh, like he's not being talked about. I'm like, yeah, because when we're in games, the offenses we play against don't have to throw the football. So he's not even really getting a ton of opportunities to rush the passer like he might get this season. And then on the other side of him, you bring in Marvin Jones Jr., former 5-star from Georgia and Florida State. And then you also have Danny Okoye and PJ Atabare, who was a former 5-star as well on the other side. And then you go to the linebackers. Kip Lewis is really good. We saw that last year. I think Kobe McKenzie's going to start, but they're saying Samuel Gosigo is going to play as well. And then at the cheetah spot, they bring in Kendall Daniels, probably Oklahoma State's best player on the team last year. He played outside linebacker / safety. He's going to kind of be that Isaiah Simmons role in Burt Venables' defense, kind of that cheetah spot. And then there's just other guys stepping up. Reggie Powers, a young safety. He's going to play a lot. And then the safeties are good. RSJ, Peyton Bowen. And then my concern on defense was the corner spot. And everyone was like, oh, we're not bringing in any corners in the portal, this and that. But they're saying that the front office evaluated the roster and they didn't feel like they needed to spend money on any corners because the freshmen coming in and what they already had were very good. Gentry Williams is finally healthy. He didn't play at all last season, but obviously he made big plays in the Texas game a couple years ago, had a pick on Quinn early in the game and then recovered a fumble in that game. And then you have Cortland Guillory, who's a really good freshman corner. They're saying he might be the best looking corner we've had in years, and he's a true freshman. And then you have Eli Bowen, who was All-American SEC. So there's like a lot of battling. There's a lot of depth in that room. I'm excited for. Some of the questions I do have is, not really on the roster because I don't like, for example, everyone talks about tight ends. I think we have an okay tight end room, but I don't think it's going to matter too much in Arbuckle system. I just think you need a guy that it can consistently catch, a couple of passes a game, get open. I like Jaron Canick in that role because he's a freak athlete. Use him more of like in the past, when we've been really good, we've always had like those H-back type players, those fullback / tight ends, where you can like split them out, run the ball, give them short little passes, like a Dimitri Flowers, like a Trey Millard, and like a Jeremiah Hall in the past. That's when we've been really good with those type of players. I think Jaren Kinnick's going to fit that role well. But my questions really are just the game management stuff. There's been a lot of times where we've either decided to go for it when we shouldn't have, or didn't kick, or when we try to kick field goals, maybe we shouldn't have kicked it because we didn't have the kickers. I think we have them now. But just some of that stuff. And also just being able to pit teams away, like Carlos was saying about Texas. Like, I want us to be able to do that too. Like, I think we have the team that can beat you in multiple ways. I think we can win in a shootout. I think we can also win in an ugly game. But it's more so about the management of the team and of the staff. And I think Brent addressed those problems, bringing in what's his name? Kevin Wilson, who was a longtime offensive line coach, OC, coached at Tulsa for a while, brought him in as like a assistant head coach. And then you bring in a Wes Goodwin, who was Clemson's defensive coordinator last season, who has a relationship with Brent Venables to kind of help Brent manage the team. And then obviously now you have Arbuckle, who's going to take full control of the offense. And I think for Brent, he might just be a head coach that just can't be associated with that side of the football. He's going to be calling the defense this year, to quote him, because he says he's good at it. And we all know he is good at it. And this is a year for him where he's got to really show it. For me, I would be disappointed if Oklahoma wins less than 8 games. Even with the schedule, I think we have a good enough team to beat anybody we have on the schedule. Now, obviously, the schedule is difficult. It's hard to win every week, so that's going to come with it, right? But I expect us to win at least 8 games. I think our ceiling, for me personally, is 8-4, and I think our floor, and I think our ceiling, is anywhere from 11-1, right? I don't think anyone's going undefeated. If you do, kudos off to you and your team. But I kind of have us falling in that range of 10-2, 9-3. A playoff bubble team or a playoff team. I think if we go 9-3, we make the playoffs with our schedule. 10-2 will just be more so with these coin flip games that they go our direction and stuff like that. So it kind of got us there. My expectations is we got to make the playoffs. I think this is the best roster he's had. Everyone came out of camp healthy. So that's what we need to do. That's the standard, right? Like, it doesn't change just because we had a bad year last year. Like, I think a lot of people are writing Oklahoma off as a program. And I'm just like, if you look at what we did in the offseason, bringing in Nagy, bringing in all the coaches, bringing in Mateer and all that, and then obviously retaining the roster. Because I saw, some Texas fan posts, oh, they're not retaining the roster well. All these guys transferred. I'm like, nobody that was good transferred. Like, nobody that was going to start left. And the only person that almost did was David Stone, and we kept him. So
what about Nick Anderson?
He would have started, but like all the receivers, like I look at him, it's like the receivers left, but like we brought in a ton of them, and we still like retained someone like a Deion Burks, who probably on paper had like, I think Nick will be a good NFL receiver, but like the injury stuff, I think Deion like has more potential as like an NFL receiver than Nick does. Just because Nick was a product of a lot of bust coverage and stuff. He scored a lot of touchdowns a couple years ago, but like he was always wide open. Like, it wasn't like he was, round people up, explosive yak, all that stuff that I think Deion Burks is capable of. But outside of that, I think we're going to be
won the Texas game. He was wide open.
No, for sure. I think it's going to be a good. I think we're going to be a good team. Obviously, we just have to see how it plays out. But I'm excited. Probably the biggest season in Oklahoma football in a long time. This season's super important just for the trajectory of the program, and even that Michigan game week 2 is probably the biggest game for Oklahoma in like 20 seasons. And I say that obviously we've been in playoff games, we've been in natties and stuff, but I say that because of how last year went. Coming into the SEC, your biggest rival Texas looks like nothing can go wrong with them right now. That Michigan game is such an important game, and we got it at home, not only for optics of the program, but to build momentum for the year, because the season is hard. If we lose that Michigan game, I think we could still have a good season, but you want to show these guys need to know that they can beat these teams. They need to know that they can win, and they need to take that confidence and roll with it through the rest of the season. So I think the staff knows that. I think the players know that. I'm excited. And it should be a good year, man. It should be a good year. We should be a lot more competitive. So, and that's the thing. Even though like we have a tough schedule, like it's gonna be hell on wheels to play Oklahoma.
More home games though this year, right?
Yeah, we got Illinois State, Michigan, Auburn, LSU. Like, and that's the thing. Everyone's like talking about the schedule, but a lot of these people we play have first time starters, or like we got them at home, like LSU, right? So
LSU got at home. So you got tough away games. Tennessee,
like
Alabama.
the South Carolina game is the one where
South Carolina's tough away games.
But I'm not too like on paper. Our roster is substantially better than theirs, but we do play them right after Texas the next week and on the road, and that's a good team at the end of the day, and it's a hard place to play, and that'll be our first time playing there.
It's same for us. Well, we're at Florida, then y'all.
Yeah. So like the thing I like though about that South Carolina game is since the way we lost last year, I think that'll stick in the mind of the staff and the players that were on the team.
Boy, I looked at this. I said, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
That's
that game was game was over in 5 minutes. I was so mad, bro. I was just like, it was insane. But outside of that, I want to jump into the AP poll real quick. Me and Carl's kind of touch on that, and
top
obviously
to bottom or bottom top.
I'll go bottom to top real quick. So Boise State is 25. Not going to really talk too much about them.
They're in the Mountain West. They lost their best player. I don't think their is he the same quarterback?
They got the same QB.
I don't think he was that great. I think Genty saved a lot of their season, obviously because of what he did. When he really didn't do much, obviously, I mean, it was Penn State, yes. But when he got shut down, they couldn't really move the ball. So that's that.
Tennessee at 24, like I like this ranking. They dropped a lot, and I think, it was because of the Nico situation. But outside of that, I mean, they lost a lot of people.
I I think that's just because of more of who they lost, also including Nico. But lost a lot of defenders. They lost their running back. They lost some receivers.
They got go ahead.
If Joey Aguilar could throw the ball downfield,
They might be better in the long run.
Absolutely.
I just think the defense takes a slight step back, so it kind of like evens out. I bet they're I bet they're the same team. I don't know if they're going to make a playoff though this season.
Probably not.
Tech, they spent a ton of money in the portal. They just lost their running back, unfortunately, this week to a knee injury. So that's tough to see because we had some high expectations from him. But outside of that, they still probably have
local boy
the most talented roster in that Big 12. So
yeah,
and their schedule is pretty favorable.
It's very favorable. They have a lot of home games. I actually want to put them in the playoffs. I think they're a playoff team because I think they won the Big 12.
Yeah, and like they got like week 7 or week 7 or 8 they play Arizona State on the road. Like we think Arizona State should be good. They should be, but we'll see too with them as well. Iowa State at 22 they played this weekend. They lost a lot of receivers. I mean, me and Carlos are high on 2 of them that just got drafted to the Houston Texans. But they still a well-coached team. Matt Campbell he usually has some okay years. And then like when he has an older team, like every 3 or 4 years, they have a really, really good team. They could be this season. So
they still got 2 receivers that are pretty good.
Yeah, Carlos would know. Playing in his NCAA dynasty with Iowa State, he probably should know about them a little bit.
But I mean, I have in a graphic we put out earlier. I had them winning the Big 12 actually. But I went back and looked at Tech's schedule and I was like, it's kind of gravy. So I actually have Tech winning the Big 12 now. But I think they're going to be right there in contention. I think these days, it's started to get hard to count out Iowa State. I think they're starting to become more of a complete team in that conference. They're going to be the most complete team in that conference. They always have great defense. Then he said every now and then they'll have offense that just is crazy. But I think it's starting to go to a spot where they're going to start getting both sides of the ball. And it's scary to play at Ames, man. It's not an easy place to play.
No, not at all. Then you got Ole Miss. They had their best team ever outside of like the Hugh Freeze years. Last year they went all in. They spent a bunch of money, and they still couldn't get it done. So I like them at 21. I think they're going to be about where they were. I think they, win 8-9 games, but I don't think they're going to be a playoff team.
Don't think they'll be a playoff team. New quarterback this year. He's talented,
but
he's talented. He's a baseball player, so I'm rooting for him. lefty, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And on NCAA, he can absolutely throw that thing. So if it's anything like NCAA, he's gonna be slinging that pill.
And then
But I don't think they make
Indiana.
the playoffs either.
Yeah, no. Indiana at I got them. They're at a 20. They're a solid team, man. Obviously, like they're not going to sneak up on anybody this year, so that's going to be their issue. And I don't think their schedule was as easy this year as it was last year. So I think that's going to be kind of what derails them. And obviously, their coach is over here not scheduling certain teams and whatnot to. I mean, he got in the playoff last year, so I guess I can't fault him. But don't run from the competition. Like you all find out who you are, because if you are a good team like they were last year and get in the playoffs, then you're going to have to play these teams at some point.
Absolutely. I don't think they make the playoffs either. I think they'll probably be a middle of the road Big Ten team. Big Ten's kind of tough this year. You kind of got a lot of people who can win it. Obviously, Ohio State, Penn State are going to be your top two.
Oregon,
but you also got Oregon, potentially
Michigan,
USC,
Michigan, USC,
as well. I mean,
Nebraska.
It's kind of people are probably like, wow, Michigan, but like you kind of look at it like last year they made a bowl game. They won 6 games without a quarterback. No, 8 games without. I'm sorry. 8
yeah, they went.
Without a
yeah, and they beat Ohio State and Bama.
And they beat like.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like USC.
Like, it's not impossible that they don't make the playoffs. Like that's why I put them in there, because they won 8 games last year without a quarterback. They couldn't throw the ball, and now they have Bryce Underwood,
who's young, but even if he's just slightly better or average, like that's a humongous upgrade.
He has to be better than anything they had last year.
Oh, for sure, sure.
Yeah, I think Indiana's going to be a middle of the road Big Ten team. And then next A&M at 19. I mean, at the end of the day, it's A&M, man. They always have talent at the ass, but they just can't get it done. It's just
they're an interesting team. They're a team that could be very, very good this year, but we got to see it too.
Earlier you said that they something about them like reloading and got a good team, so they're gonna be good. But what was it, 2022? They had the best recruiting class ever, and look what they did.
Yeah,
look how many stuck.
I mean, they even have players. They even have players on the team that haven't really done much. They did get a lot of people in the portal, like at receiver and stuff. So maybe that'll help them out. But hopefully they also had some injuries, at running back and stuff. So maybe that changes things. I think Elko is a good coach. I think they're going to be a good team, but it just depends on how that Notre Dame game goes. If they look good against them, then I feel like we can project them to be a lot better than they were last year. I mean, they were good last year. They almost made that
because they looked good against Notre Dame last year. Obviously, the quarterback play didn't, but they looked good against them last year, and they still somehow, some way, found a way to shoot themselves right in the foot.
Yep. K-State, go ahead.
Well, last thing is that game at Auburn. Like that's not a game you're supposed to be losing.
No, not at all.
So like, I don't know. They always have great teams. I mean, eventually it's going to happen. That's the thing. And it's going to be annoying when it happens because they're not going to hear the end of it out of any Aggie ever. They're going to think that they're the best team ever and they've won for years on and years out. But eventually it's going to happen. Like it's bound to happen. It's destined to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it could be this year, but I don't know. Like we like to say, you just got to show me.
No, you're good. Yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. So Oklahoma at 18, I've already talked about them on the pod. I like us at that ranking. I think it's a fair ranking and a fair spot. But going into K-State at 17, they play Iowa State this weekend, week 0 matchup on the in Ireland in Europe. And it's a disservice to the college football fans, in my opinion. This is not only is this a top 25 matchup, but it's also a humongous game in the Big 12. And the fact that it's being played overseas takes away from, and it's a rivalry too. It's Farmageddon. So you're taking away from the aspect of the fans being able to, watch this game and state the students and things like that. So I'm not a big fan of the overseas game, but it is what it is. But I think K-State is a solid team. This is Avery Johnson's second year as a full-time starter. So hopefully he continues to improve and grow. Very talented, but, obviously has his limitations at times, which has kind of had K-State not winning the Big 12 or being that, top team in the conference. But this is a huge game for them. And I'm excited to, just see them play. But, I like them at 17.
Yeah. Avery Johnson just got to show me. I think if y'all are here from last year, you all know that I wasn't that big on him. just because I thought that his gameplay wasn't that great for especially what he's supposed to be. But hopefully this year he does make a big jump, especially for the prize picks. But no, I mean, I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I think they have a solid team. They have their running back returning too, right? One of them.
Yeah, one went to the league, and then they have Dylan Edwards, who transferred from Colorado.
Yeah.
He was
Oh,
a
that's what
highly
it was.
talented guy. Yeah, he's
And
very good.
Giddings went to the league.
Yeah.
But obviously it sucks that this game is overseas, but I'm still gonna be tuned in.
For sure.
And I feel like this is kind of like a Big 12 title eliminator this early in the season. You got two teams who can make the Big 12 title. So whoever, obviously, Ireland's kind of a scary place to play. Just because of jet lag. But it's game one, and you're giving it your all.
Yeah, it's a big game.
Yeah,
important game. Oh yeah. So now after that, we got SMU at 16. Obviously, they were a playoff team last year. Rhett Lashley got them playing good football. They obviously got the QB Jennings there. Like we were saying with Indiana, they're kind of similar. I think SMU isn't going to surprise anybody. They've obviously been recruiting really well now with NIL, but I think 16 is a fair ranking. I don't know if they're going to be an ACC in the ACC championship game again. I'm not too sure how that's going to, fall for them. I think they'll be a good team, but I think they'll take a little step back. It's just hard to replicate that when you aren't known to be doing that consistently. But they could prove me wrong. Rhett Lashley has had them. Ever since he took that job, they've been improving. So,
yeah, I think it's a fair spot. I mean, I don't think they make the playoffs again this year as well. Obviously, it's nice to have your quarterback returning, but with as good as Clemson is this year, they're
Miami, Georgia Tech.
I wanted to say Miami.
I think Miami's going to be good.
I'm not big on Carson Beck, man. But I was going to say on Clemson, like, you kind of hung around with them last year, but this year I think it'll be completely different. I think Clemson would steamroll them. So that's like if they made it to the ACC championship. But then, like you said, you got Georgia Tech. But according to what's his name, Georgia Tech coach, he's not very happy with them right now. Apparently, they don't know how to play football, according to him.
Could just be coach speak, man. I don't know. I like what I saw. I like that team. I think they're just
for sure. I mean, you got a gritty starter.
And they're just a
returning
gritty team, hard to play against, well coached. I think they're going to be a tough out for people.
So, and then you got North Carolina. Obviously, you have
wild card.
Bill Belichick's first year, and you don't know kind of what to expect for them. But if he coaches them well, it's very possible they can end up there too. So it's going to be hard for SMU. They got a lot of
Florida
stuff.
State might be improved. They should be.
I mean, they got a better quarterback than what they had last year, but he also quit on his team last year. So we'll see.
And then Louisville too, the sleeper.
Louisville,
bringing in Miller Moss, and Brom can put up some points.
Yeah. I don't think they make it either.
Florida at 15, this is a team that got really hot at the end of the year, and everyone's high on Lagway. So I think this is a fair spot at where they got them at. It's good to see this brand being ranked. They've been kind of down the last couple of years, and really since Urban Meyer left, they've been up and down. I mean, they haven't really had any tenure there to where Florida's consistently a good team. They had their moments with Dan Mullen and Kyle Trask a couple of years ago where they beat Georgia, almost made it went to the SC championship and lost to Bama. So they've had their moments, but hopefully they can continue to just kind of build off what they did last year and be a good team. They're similar to Oklahoma this season. Very talented team, very tough schedule.
Yep. I mean, you got a guy that's supposed to be the next big thing. You have a running back that is returning that had some great gameplay from last year, and I think you have a team that's kind of rallying behind the coach. It seems like
that's a big thing. He got them to play for him, even though he was it could have been easy for them to be damn, we're already losing, this and that. Our coach is going to get fired is what it is. The fact he was able to save his season the way he did.
Make a bowl game, win the bowl
game.
Win
their bowl game. that's huge. You know, they got a ton of momentum, so they should be good.
I think that they're going to continue to play for them, and they're going to be a scary team to play against.
Then you got Michigan. Obviously, we had talked about them a little bit earlier. This is a well-coached team. They did lose a lot of people to the NFL, and then they did the year prior. But this is still going to be a hard-nosed team, well-coached, very good in the offensive and defensive line. And they have a good, on paper, their QB is supposed to be really good. I don't think he's going to be good early on, just true freshman. If he is, more power to him. The reason why I don't think he's going to be as successful early on is because they don't really have any receivers that I think scare anybody. So I think that's going to make it harder on him. But, this is Michigan. This is a team that, even though last year we were like, it looking a little grim since Harbaugh left. I mean, they turned it around. They got some big time wins. And, they're just going to be a hard team to play against. They're going to be well coached, and they're going to have the line of scrimmage intact. So,
yep, I think it's a great ranking. Like I said, I have them in the playoffs. If he can play an ounce better than what they did last year, I think this team's okay. Receiver is like we always talk about it. Receiver is one of those positions that's kind of easy to just refill. You can have a 3-star guy that can go out there and get the job done. So as long as somebody can go out there and catch the ball, I think they're fine. Offensive line with both the sides of the on the line of the ball are always great. They're just big. They play good physical football. So I think obviously running the ball won't be an issue either. But at the end of the day, they lost a lot of people back-to-back years, so they just got to prove it.
Then you got South Carolina at 13. This is about where they finished last year. Basically, they've lost a lot of people. I mean, they don't have Kyle Kennard on the other end, but they still have Dylan Stewart, still have Nicholas Harbor at tight end, and then obviously the Lenore Sellers. So this is a team that, I think is properly rated based off of what they did last year, and also having a returning quarterback, but I think, nothing higher. I do think they're a little overrated to me. I think by like the casual people or like the national media, just because of how much they have lost. But that, they've shown that, under Beamer that they can beat some teams. Like, I mean, they beat Clemson twice since he's been there. They beat Tennessee when they were ranked number 1 at the time, with Spencer Rattler. So it's not like he can't coach. But they're in SEC. It's tough, especially their non-conference schedule. I mean, they got Virginia Tech week 1, and then they got Clemson as well later in the year, plus their SEC schedule. So they got a tough schedule as well.
Yep. But again, another team that just kind of rallies behind the coach, man. That's someone that they wake up and go play for, whether that's practice, whether that's the classroom, or whether that's on the football field in the game. Like they go out there and they compete, and they want to do it for him and also for themselves. But I think a lot of that ranking is off of Lenore Sellers, just because of what he did last year and what they expect for him to do this year. Obviously, he had some great moments last year, and he kept him in pretty much every ball game. But Ole Miss?
Mm-hmm. And then they should have beat LSU. He got hurt.
I mean, he got hurt, and then he came back.
Then they almost beat Alabama on the road.
They almost beat Alabama. So he had you in all those games, but that blowout.
He didn't play well against us, but I mean, he didn't have to. But but he didn't play well against us. Yeah. That game was because of our inept ability on offense.
I feel like a lot of that ranking is off of that. Is what he can do. So we'll see. Obviously, it's. I think he's kind of in a spot where he's gonna develop the players that he gets, and they'll be fine.
I like we have Illinois at 12.
Hold on, before we go into that, Michigan, South Carolina, as of right now, are just 2 bubble teams on the outside looking in. So now we start getting into the playoff teams. If just theoretically, if they were to start today,
yeah. Good. I like that. Illinois is a team that I think the national media are really high on. They were good last year. They return everybody. This is a Brent Bielema team. He's built them up, and they have a really, really favorable schedule this year. A huge game for them is going to be against USC early. I think they play like week 4 or something like that, and that's a big
week 4.
That's a big game for both teams. If it kind of will be I won't say a playoff eliminator per se, but it is a game that, can kind of change the trajectory of the seasons for both teams. And they play Illinois early, or USC plays them early, and that'll be a good test for the popular pick of Illinois being a playoff team if they lose to USC or if they don't play well, then it's like, okay, it's another case of an Indiana that we have on the hands where we know they're going to beat everybody else because their schedule is pretty favorable. But when they play these tough teams, how do they show up and how do they play? So I'm interested to see how they do. I'm not going to say I'm not high on them because, they beat Michigan last year. They played Penn State pretty well. They are a well-coached team. They beat South Carolina in the bowl game. They beat Nebraska. So they're solid. Now we'll just see how good they really are.
All I know is that Luke Altmaier looking real nice.
We got Arizona State next. This is a team that, was picked last year in the Big 12. And they end up winning the conference, and they take Texas literally down to the wire and play them extremely well. They did lose Scatabo, but outside of that, they've kind of retained the team. They still have Sam Levitt. They still have the receiver that was hurt against Texas. He's coming back. And then they've also been recruiting well and portaling well. They brought in I forget his name. One of the running backs that was at USC was a 5-star. He was committed to OU for a little bit when Lincoln was there. I think his name's Raleek Brown or something like that. I think he didn't play much last year when he transferred into Arizona State because they had Scatabo, but, very talented back. So I think the production, I'm not going to say it's going to be replaced, but I think they'll figure it out from a talent standpoint. And the only thing with Arizona State is people know about them now. So I don't think they're going to sneak up on anybody. They're going to get everybody's best shot in the Big 12. And the Big 12, there's not really a ton of separation in that conference. Literally everybody can beat everybody unless you're Oklahoma State or Okie Light. Like, I don't know, they're going to be good, but it's Gundy. So I can't underestimate him either.
Most recent.
Man, listen, tell them line it up, man.
Hey, most recent, man. Again, I mean, I think we're going to say this pretty much about every team in the Big 12. They're a team that can go and compete for the Big 12 and also make a playoff just because of the way the format is. But they returned pretty much everybody. I mean, obviously their main piece last year was Scatabo. I mean, that was the heart of that offense. Not that if he went out they're going to lose, but like he was a big part of that offense, and that's a big production you lost. But it's with you having your number one receiver back and a guy that's been in your system, that's huge. Especially in college football. College football is a big connection game, I guess you could say. If you have a good connection with your receiver, that goes a long way. That's going to open up a lot of the field, keep the drives going. It's someone that you can trust. So that's going to be big for them. I don't know what their schedule's looking like. I think they have more away games than home games this year. I think. But they're going to go out there and compete with everybody. But like you said, everybody know whose they are now. So they're going to get everybody's best effort.
100%. We got Miami. I just listened to Todd McShay and them talk about Carson Beck. They're saying he's actually, playing really well there, saying he's healthy. He wasn't healthy in Georgia. So
I don't believe that, man.
We'll see. But outside of him, I think Miami, the problem with Miami last year was not the offense. It was the defense. I mean, that was the reason why they didn't make the playoff. And obviously Mario Cristobal too has had some interesting game management situations. A couple years ago, he ran the ball with a minute left, could have just took a knee, and the running back ends up fumbling, they lose. So, and then last year, apparently against Syracuse,
they couldn't be A&M either. That was one of the worst games I've ever watched.
Yeah. So it's like they have been recruiting really well. I think the defense is going to finally be a lot better. The offense will be good. Now, it just really depends on Carson Beck. If Carson Beck can be the quarterback he was a couple years ago at Georgia before last season when, people were talking about him being a top 5, top 10 pick in the draft, then they could be dangerous, right? The schedule isn't too difficult outside of the non-conference. They do play Florida and Notre Dame very early. Notre Dame is week 1 and Florida, I think, is like week 3. But then after that, they have no Clemson on the schedule. So the ACC, realistically, like Clemson should be a team that's in the ACC championship. If everything plays out the way it should, if they, execute how they should be an ACC championship team. They're going to have a better roster than everybody they play outside of Clemson if they, meet them in the SEC or ACC championship. So, I would like the U to be relevant. It's a big brand as well. Like, I'm started the Cowboys documentary and like they're showing Michael Irvin and Jimmy Johnson and it's just like, damn, like you really do forget how legendary that program is. Like they're one of the most, from an NFL standpoint and even from a college national standpoint, like when they're rolling, man, the talent that team can produce in their local backyard is insane. So hopefully they can get it going.
I mean, they have one of the greatest teams ever.
Probably the greatest team ever. Just from like draft picks and everything, like the 2001 Miami team, like it's insane, bro.
Yeah, so
insane.
I'm not big on Carson Beck. I know they've done great in the transfer portal this year, but obviously I'm not big on Carson Beck, and you got to have a quarterback to win in these games. So he just got to prove me wrong. He goes to one. Yeah, after his first read, it just pick. So he just got to be able to read the field and make the correct throws, man. I think he has the arm talent. And he also can run the ball a little bit, not too much, but he just gotta make better reads. He just gotta prove me wrong.
Facts. I agree. And then we got LSU at number 9. This is a team that everyone's high on. A lot of people have them, predicted to make it to the national title or the SEC championship game. And, their offense is going to be electric. I mean, they've returned Garrett Nussmeier, and they have probably the fastest wide receiver room in the country. I mean, they brought in Nick Anderson. They have this other guy named Anderson who's like a track guy. They brought in some other receiver. I'm trying to forget what school he came in from. I think Kentucky. Yeah, Barian Brown or whatever. And he's obviously a dynamic receiver. So they're gonna score a lot of points. I mean, that's what they're gonna do. That's what they've been doing with Brian Kelly. To be frank, like the offense has been insane since he's been there.
Great, yeah.
But the problem has been the defense. Now they do have some, Whit Weeks and Harold Perkins. They got some guys on defense. They got that one corner that keeps seeing clips on that's like 6'5". Yeah, that's like 6'5", runs a 4.4. I'm like, Jesus, but they got the talent. It's LSU. They're always going to have the talent. Now, can they play? They don't even got to be elite defensively. If they're just like a top 50 team, they're going to be hard to beat because of how good their offense is going to be. So I like them at 9. I don't know if they're going to go to the SEC championship. Their schedule is hard. They do have Florida in South Carolina, but they're both at home. But then they got to play us and, some other teams. Then Clemson, obviously week 1, Alabama. Yeah. So A&M, so they have a tough schedule.
At home this year, though.
Yeah, they got A&M at home. So it lays out good. They just got to be able to stop people because, I mean, we saw too with Nussmeier, since their defense wasn't great, and if he turns the ball over 1 or 2 times with a bad defense, it would just snowball and they would just lose games because of that.
Another big thing is Nussmeier already had a scary report this fall camp.
Yeah, it's knee tendonitis. That's what they're saying.
Could be a big thing, man.
Hopefully he stays healthy. I like watching him play. He's a very good quarterback.
Just committed to LSU.
Yeah. And Nussmeier's a very good quarterback. He's got to, he plays like Baker to me, like with just gunslinger mentality, things like that. But you got to relax a little bit. He's not Baker. Come on, he's not Baker, but he plays
anything like Baker.
Yeah, Baker, because you play like Baker.
He played more like Spencer.
Nah, he's better than Spencer. I think.
No, I'm saying like his play style is more like Spencer.
Yeah, I would say
slinging it.
But that's the thing too. Like Garrett Nussmeier,
Baker go running you over.
Yeah,
Garrett
that's true.
Ain't doing that.
That's another thing too. I think he needs to run a little more. Now, you don't got to be like Jaden Daniels, but bro, if it's first and 10 and you got 7 yards, you can pick up, go get it.
Yeah.
Go slide and get it. Or if it's 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5, and you can get a first down, you got to do that. He's got to move the chains more that way, I think, too, to just kind of just know it's a threat. So teams are like, okay,
Yep.
But
speaking of another the team that got to go on the road, Alabama, number 8. I think this Alabama team is gonna be scary. I think it's gonna be a very, very good season for them. Obviously, it's just kind of like everybody else. Their biggest thing, their biggest question mark is the quarterback. What's his name? Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson, but he's he's a former 5-star.
Yeah, he's a former 5-star. But I was reading somewhere, I forgot I saw it on Twitter whose thread it was, but they don't expect him to be the quarterback for the whole year.
Well, that's the thing, because they not drafted. They recruited Keelan Russell, who was we saw at Elite 11. At the time, he was committed to SMU. He was a 4-star, and then he just shot up in the rankings, became a 5-star, flipped to Alabama. Super talented, and that's a guy DeBoer hand-picked, right? So now DeBoer also brought in his old OC, who was with Seattle last season, and then came over. This is a guy he was with at Washington. So, I think will be a team like we all know DeBoer can coach. Like even last year in his first year at Alabama with Milroe, who was super inconsistent, he still went 9-3, was a bubble playoff team in his first year.
Just lost their running back, right?
I think they kept him too.
Like to injury?
Maybe. I don't know.
They lost their running back to injury. I could be wrong though.
But their defense should be really good as well. It should be one of the best defenses in the SEC as well. And I'm excited to see if Ty Simpson is a better thrower than Jalen Milroe is. I'm really excited to see what Ryan Williams and Jermani Bernard do, because both those guys are really good wide receivers. And
which will be interesting because it seemed like Bernard was kind of the favorite target last year, even though Williams was better receiver.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because he was double covered, but Bernard's really good, and that offense is going to be something scary.
Absolutely. And then now you got Oregon at number 7. This is a team that is super talented, been recruiting like no other. Super excited about DeCorian Moore. He's going to be the Ryan Williams, Jeremiah Smith of this team, and he almost went to Texas. Thank God he didn't. But that dude is different. Like he's one of those ones. Like now we're getting more receivers that are elite like that. And I'm just going off the high school tape. I know he's going to be good because receivers translate really well to college, and he's in a great system. So it's not like he's not going to get open, things like that. And Dante Moore, this is a quarterback I was super high on, coming out of high school. He obviously started a couple games at UCLA, and then it didn't go well for him there. He transfers to Oregon. I think the best thing he did was transferring and then sitting behind Dylan Gabriel, learning the system, learning how Dylan operated, being in college for a long time. Now he's getting the reins. I think Dante Moore is somebody that's going to have a really big season and a big year. I like Oregon at 7, and they're just they're very similar to Texas as opposed to with their coaches, very good coaches. Now just like Penn State. Now the next step, Now the next step, they just got to get over the hump, and that doesn't even mean winning the national title this year for Oregon. That just could be winning a playoff game, or getting to the semis, or winning a natty. This is something that Oregon has not done in the college football playoff era.
I feel like it's definitely winning the natty, and not to downplay the playoff game, but I feel like a playoff game doesn't really mean much just because there is 12 teams now. Obviously, when it's 4 teams, it's a little bit different. But since there's 12 teams now, it's more. I think if you win round 1, like I don't think
it depends on who you play too. Yeah, like
maybe, but I don't think that's like that big of a thing. I think the thing that they want is the national championship. That's the thing that they've been lacking, and they were to do it.
They were ranked number 1 last year in the playoffs and lost.
Defeated. Yeah.
And lost. So like I'm sure that stings. Yeah, I'm sure that stings, and they got smoked.
Was it been over?
Ohio State was they let them know.
It was bad. But I think that's the quarterback is the biggest question mark. I mean, I don't know if it was on the pod. I think it was. I said they're the dark horse to win the Natty this year. It's not really a dark horse because it's Oregon, but people were talking about Clemson, Alabama, LSU, Texas, but I think Oregon's right there with them. I think they can go out there and compete with anybody. But it's like Cam said, they just got to show us, man. They just got to do it. And they have the coach to do it. I just don't know what it is. I think he just makes like one wrong play call. That's what it is. It's one wrong play call, and that's what it is. Obviously, the Ohio State game's a little bit different. They just got bent over, but it's always like one wrong play call, just one. And that just that's the game for them.
I agree. Notre Dame, number 6. This is a team that is going to be very good. They probably have the best 1-2 punch outside of Penn State, running back wise, returning. Very well coached team, going to be good on defense. Jaden Greathouse, popped off in the playoffs, and I think he's going to be a problem this season. Austin product, but their only question mark is the quarterback position. Obviously, they announced somebody else, but then CJ Carr is who we all thought they were going to announce, and now they're saying they're going to go with him against Miami. Yeah, and he's very talented. Was highly rated. I think he's a godson of Lloyd Carr, former Michigan head coach back in the day. So obviously he's going to have the football pedigree and things like that. But Notre Dame, their schedule is the schedule. They don't really play anyone outside of the initial games, which are hard. They play Miami, A&M, and I think they got Boise State all in the first month. Then after that, it's kind of a ACC-ish schedule. I think they got like a Louisville thrown in there. So, a team that could challenge them. But yeah, but outside of that, they don't really have, too many challenges. I think they're gonna, they could go undefeated. They could, just the way the schedule lays out. If they beat Miami, I think that's the most losable game on their schedule. And then obviously they play USC, but we'll see about USC, how good they are.
I mean, it's Notre Dame. They'll be in the playoffs. Their schedule is always their schedule. They're gonna have one or two losses, but like it's not gonna be the losses where it keeps them out the playoffs. They'll be in the playoffs. They obviously have the team to do it. Their defense is insane. They have I don't want to say elite receiver in Gray House, but they have a receiver that's
he could be.
But
because they weren't really throwing like the way that Riley Leonard played. It wasn't like he got the ball like that.
Yeah.
So maybe he does this year. I don't know.
And then you have that 1-2 punch where people can't really stop it. Like they as long as you could throw the pill a little bit, they'll be fine.
Facts. I agree. Then you got Georgia at number 5. This is Georgia, bro. At the end of the day, they're going to be super talented, and they substantially upgraded the wide receiver room. I think last year they led the country in drops, which didn't help Carson Beck's case. But they, they got a Zachariah Branch, Noah Thomas.
Is that an upgrade?
Or Kevin? Yeah, Noah Thomas. Yeah,
Noah
Zachariah Branch is an upgrade for sure.
It's just like, bro, what he's supposed to be, like.
He's elite, bro.
Like we keep saying it, but like
we gonna see, bro.
It.
I know, but like I don't know what was going on. I don't know. I don't know, but because I mean, his freshman year with Caleb, he was cooking, and then last year, I mean, USC has some receivers too, so maybe like he kind of got lost in the shuffle.
With his speed, there's no way.
Yeah, I don't know, bro. Could have been scheme.
A screen pass. The slant over the middle,
and that's the guy you just gotta get. You just gotta get him the football. You just gotta get him the football. At the end of the day, just get him the football. But
maybe he drops passes too much. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But Gunnar Stockton, he is a quarterback that is talented. He was talented coming out of high school. The issue with him is we got to just see more. He's not a bad QB. He just kind of got put in some bad spots. He came in halfway during Texas, and then he also came in, he started
lit up.
And then he started against Notre Dame, and it's like those are your first 2 starts. That's tough to get it done. But I think the team rallies behind him. So
they might, but as bad as Carson Beck played last year, you couldn't take his job.
Listen, bro, it was like a Quinn situation.
I think it's different. Obviously, the Quinn situation is way different.
It is
way different.
I don't think Carson Beck really did anything to lose his job because
he was throwing hella picks.
Yeah, but they were still winning games. Like
not because of the offense.
They went to the SEC championship.
Not because of the offense.
I mean, yeah, but a lot of
Bama game,
the whole team wasn't like the offense. The receivers just were not good.
They weren't good, but
I mean, shit, they took the lead though against Bama.
If you ain't throwing the ball to the receiver, throwing it to the DB, it ain't the receiver's fault.
Yeah, but I mean, they took the lead against Bama. Like,
yeah, after they were down 30 points,
but they had to score 30. So it's not like they, you know what I'm saying? Like that they were good enough.
I think
to not replace them.
I think that defense plays differently down 30 rather than a 7-point game.
For sure, but I think like I said, I think he is good. I don't know if he was ready to take Carson's job.
Carson Beck did not play great football last year.
But I don't think Carson did anything to lose the job. Like they weren't losing games because of him. So I think if that was the case, then okay,
they were barely winning games, and it wasn't because of him though. That's the thing. It's like sure they weren't losing, but it wasn't.
But it's hard.
You can't because of him.
You can't bench him after what he did the year before.
Why not?
Because he's not playing. Because you're not losing. Like you can't just make a change just because you're not losing. You know what I'm saying? If you're losing, okay. Yeah, Nick Saban did it. Yes, maybe Carson would have did it, or maybe Kirby would have did it. But like, that was his guy. He was riding it out with him. I mean, I respect it. Like there's no reason to change it unless like it was a natty or something, and he was playing bad. Okay, it's like yeah, I can make a change. This is the last game of the season. But in any regular season game,
that's not a game where you don't make a change.
I mean that's a game where all cards are off. Though it's like whatever it takes. And if that's what it takes, then let's do it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, but I don't know. He didn't play great last year, and if he couldn't take his job from last year, he didn't play that great against us either. It was like a team rallied behind him, and then that one drive, and that's literally all they needed.
Yeah, fair enough. I agree.
So, where I sit with Georgia, man.
Yeah, hater. But we got Clemson on here, man. They're number 4.
So they are number 8. I've seen number 8, but I guess the number 4.
So they are in the top 5, man. And Clemson is a highly talented team. They're a lot of people's popular pick to win the Natty.
Yeah, I mean,
we already kind of talked about them. They're a talented team, man. I'm excited to them against LSU is going to be cinema at night. Cannot wait. Hopefully Carlos is not feeling the greatest, from the morning game. But
help, man.
Yeah,
you should want us to feel the greatest. Undefeated when we play each other.
Man, I'm about to be in the bar with all these Texas fans.
You want Auburn to be undefeated when y'all play, but not us.
No, it's a rivalry, bro.
Exactly.
I gotta hear these.
I got undefeated, and the person leaves with an L. Why would you not? That's just even better.
I gotta hear these Texas fans talking crazy, bro. I don't know if I can do it. But
bro, that's the best. Where both of us are undefeated.
True.
That's just hater talk. I want y'all undefeated when we play every year.
No, it makes it better. It does. It makes it more implications, things like that. Boy. But Ohio State at number 3, we've kind of talked about them as well. Similar to Texas.
Quarterback
and replacing 2 coordinators. Jim Knowles was going with the Penn State. And then Chip to the Raiders.
No, Chip Kelly, maybe not, but I feel like they kind of upgraded coordinators. Obviously, we don't know because with Brian Hartline, obviously Chip Kelly's mastermind, but with Matt Patricia,
yeah, I don't think there's much regression. The only reason they would be bad is if he makes it too complicated. But outside of that, I think
they might have upgraded.
They might have upgraded. Yeah,
I don't know. Well, they didn't really. Them losing their coordinators, I don't think will hurt. But it's Ohio State. You're always going to see that Scarlet and Red up there in the top 10s, top 5. So.
Yep, and they recruit well and they spend money, so they're going to always be a relevant team. You got Penn State at number 2. This is a team. This is probably the highest they've been ranked under James Franklin in the preseason. I know they were ranked pretty high with Saquon. I think they were 2 with him at one point in the season when he was there. But this is a team that, like a Clemson, has a lot coming back. The only person they really lose is Tyler Warren. Outside of that, which he was a big part of their offense, but outside of that, they have both running backs coming back. They have Drew Aller coming back. They got Pena from Syracuse, who was a really good receiver. So hopefully they can throw the football because that's really been their issue and really for a long time. They've always been a good team. When they play good teams, they struggle to throw the football, and that's why they end up losing. Their defense is going to be good. They're always going to have a Michael Parsons, a dual Carter type person over there. There's going to be somebody. They stay with one, so they're going to be a tough out. But the question marks of Penn State is
Franklin.
Is James Franklin and is Drew Aller really what they say he is?
No, he's not. I think he's a. I can't even say I think he's a great college quarterback because he really hasn't done anything.
He hasn't. Yeah, I agree.
But he's good. It's weird.
He's good, but
he's good, but he's not.
But yeah, he's good, but he should be for what he was as a recruit. How long he's going to be in college? This is the year where it should all come together, and he should be really good.
Yeah.
And if he's really good, then Penn State will be a playoff team, which they're going to probably be one anyway because they
national championship team.
But a national championship team, the team where they're ranked at. But like we said, we just got to see with Penn State and James Franklin because they can't beat Ohio State, and they struggle with Michigan and lose to them too. And they also lost to Oregon, and it was Oregon's first year in the Big Ten. So it's kind of similar to Texas in a way. They got to beat the teams that are on par with them.
No. It's not kind of similar to Texas. This is where it originated. Don't say it's kind of. We're not similar to them. This is where everything originated was James Franklin and Penn State.
Yeah. So they got to just beat the teams that are more talented than, which they do, and they got to beat the teams that are the same as them or even a little bit more talented than them. That's just the name of the game. But Penn State, when you're at the top of the conference every year and when you're a top, 10 recruiting every year, you got to be able to win some of these marquee matchups. You can't just keep losing to the top dogs in the sport. Because if not, then, I don't think they'll ever fire James Franklin, because it's like what they're getting is he had his best year last year, really. I mean, he really had his best year last year. I mean, they went to the semifinals in the 12th round, so we'll see.
He's just been successful.
We'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's it. Yeah. Oh, we got Texas.
Of course you forgot, man. Last number 1, Texas. I think it's kind of the same as South Carolina. Everything is kind of revolved around the quarterback. And I think that's a big reason why we're number 1 is because what everybody's expecting Arch Manning to be.
Yeah.
Do I don't think we're number 1 team? No. Obviously, our defense is great. Our defense is elite. Our offense is right there with it. But the reason why I wouldn't put us number 1, I'll probably put us like maybe number 4. I'll just bump everybody up probably. Is because of the offensive line. That's really my big thing is the offensive line. Like I said, I think Arch will play great. I think he'll do good enough, and we'll probably win games. I think we will be in some dogfights this year, where I think his first time being a starters will kick in. Whether that's going to be at Ohio State, whether that's going to be against Oklahoma.
Yeah, he's going to turn the ball over.
There's going to be some mistakes, and that might make us lose some ball games. But I think there'll be a lot of growth, great growth, and a lot of growth around this team and this season. So I think we could compete with the best of them. Our schedule's a little tough. Like I said, at Ohio State, at Florida, at Georgia. OU is just always OU. Another rivalry game was with A&M. And then we're at Kentucky. And if it's at night, it's going to be scary, man. So we have a lot of – I think we're at Mississippi State too. Them Cowboys are going to be ringing, boy. So year 2 under Jeff Levy, he has a lot to prove. The best coordinator to ever go through Oklahoma. And he's trying to make his mark as a coach. So – it'll be a fun season. I'm here for the ride. I don't know, Cam, if you have any comments on Texas or not.
I think they're going to be a good team. Like we've been saying, I think they on paper are really good. But like you said, there's question marks at the offensive line, and then obviously, just with Arch, like he's going to have really great moments. He's also going to have some low moments. That's just what's going to come with him being a first-time starter. I don't think he's going to immediately just pop off and be the best thing we've ever seen. And if he is, kudos to him, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough when you're the guy every week. Teams are game planning for you. You're not just coming in for sporadic moments to where, yes, you can make highlight plays in, but it's a lot different when you got to execute for 4 quarters every single week against teams that are very good and coaches that are very good. I do think Arch is going to be really, really, really good next year if he decides to come back. And I think he's going to be really good this year, but he's going to get better as the year progresses. He's going to build off of it. So I think he could have a okay month in September and then, kind of get some confidence with some of the easier teams that y'all will play in non-conference and then in the SEC. And then by November is probably when things will be clicking for him all the way around and he'll be playing really good football. So I'm okay with Texas at number 1. I understand it, It's not the end of the world. Like everyone's like, oh, we're number 1. I'm just like, look, bro, this shit don't really matter. Like everybody got to play games. Like just because you're number 1 don't mean you're winning the natty, So
no number 1, no preseason number 1 has won the natty in I forgot some odd years. So there's that. You can be happy about that.
No, exactly.
But that was a good one, man. We're back to it, back at it. Football season's here, man. It's here. It came fast. I'm excited. This weekend, we have a top 25 matchup. It's always cool when you get these big games early. So I'll be tuned in at 11 a.m. Watching the boys in Ireland. So,
yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I'm super excited, bro. We don't really have too many marquee matchups besides that one. If you guys want to bet on some things, I'm going to pull up a couple of plays. I like Hawaii money line. I don't think Stanford is great.
Do you want to make another show for that, or
we are gonna make another show for that? But I don't know if we're gonna have time.
This week,
in the future. But for week 0, I'm just gonna kind of say it, Sam, if that's cool with you.
I got plays, man.
So Carlos had a parlay for this week.
I had 2. Well, the second one, I didn't know if you're rocking with it or not. The one I sent you today.
I'll tell you, bro. We're gonna tell each other, bro.
Well, I haven't submitted it yet, but did
we
you
live
like
or
it?
die. Yeah, I like it. We live or die. We live or die together.
Let's see if I can post this still, man.
We have a couple season long parlays. We're gonna make some separate videos for that. But I'm gonna give you guys not my week 1 parlay, but Carlos's week 1 parlay.
Week 0.
Or week 0 parlay. If you're on Prize Picks, you can play this. I think the Avery Johnson discount's still up, but we have Avery Johnson, half a passing yard. Gabe Burkle, tight end from Iowa State, over 20.5 receiving yards. Xavier Townsend, receiver from Iowa State, over 42.5 receiving yards.
My dog right there.
Jalen Daniels, over 37.5 rushing yards. Rushing yards is scary in college because them sacks be hurting you, but we think he'll be getting that. EJ Warner.
I thought it was opposite. I thought college it doesn't affect.
No, it does. It does. It doesn't affect it in the NFL.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which is stupid. But EJ Warner, over 184.5 passing yards. Fresno State should be down for most of this game, or it should be competitive. So, he should be throwing the football. And then Poffel Ashlock, 69.5 over receiving yards. All Hawaii does is throw the football. That's literally all they do. That's what they've been known for, and they're kind of bringing that back. And there's actually a lot of people too that are high on Hawaii this year in general as a group of 5 team. I think their win total is sitting at like 5.5. I think there's a lot of people smashing the over, thinking they're gonna, have a 6-7 win season. So it all starts this weekend, baby.
Yes, sir.
Hawaii money line. Make sure if you want to bet on that, and then I guess I'm gonna pick my winner out of the main game. Iowa State, K-State.
I got Iowa State.
I'm rocking with K-State.
Iowa State, man.
I think
the best state win.
I think Iowa State lost a little too much. I think K-State returns more. It's a neutral site game, so there's all kind of variables. But me and Carlos, and then hopefully some other people on the Opinionated Media and Sports team are going to keep score of our records this year, so we can make some graphics and stuff. But for the first game this year, we're going to do Iowa State, K-State, because that's the only game that really matters. And Carl's got Iowa State, I got K-State, so that's dope. One of us is going to be 0-1, one of us is going to be 1-0.
Start the season off right.
So, but that'll do it from another episode of 54 Yards. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. We know it was a longer one, but we haven't recorded in a while. But we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program. If you guys are new here, the way the schedule is going to roll out is we're going to have a show like this weekly, 54 Yards. It'll be primarily news, so we won't really cover as much in-depth game analysis. We'll also have the morning after, which will be Sunday. We'll usually probably shoot it right before the NFL games, or sometime, or Monday the following week, and that'll be a quick recap of what we saw on Saturday, and as well. And then we're also going to implement a betting show called Chips and Slips, where we'll actually make our picks for each week on those shows, and that'll have not only our picks, but we'll have parlays, money line, spread, over, unders. And then we'll also have some player props thrown in there for you. And if you guys are on the socials, we're going to be trying to pump out clips for the pods everywhere, so you guys can watch it like that. And then we're also going to be doing some, parlays. We got a couple potential sponsorships that we're waiting on. So once those are announced and finalized, we can let you guys know more details about that stuff. But yeah.
All righty. That'll do it for them boys over here at 54 Yards. As always, man, it is football season. So you really, really, really got to hook them.
Boomer.